It's Wednesday, March 11th, 2026, and you might be a little bit confused by the thumbnail and the title of this video. Winter is going to show up, it looks like, one more time before it's all said and done. We have some snow on the way, and we also have some cold temperatures, some very cold anomalies. There are some model runs that actually put snow back down into the Ohio Valley, even up and down the East Coast. We'll see. The Euro isn't quite seeing that. The GFS is giving it a chance. The GFS did really good with our East Coast snowstorm, better than the other global models, so it's something to consider. We also have more severe weather on the table, and this includes a large tornado risk stretching from Texas all the way up to western upstate New York. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And of course, if you like the video, like the video. Let's get into the weather updates. Starting off with our 6 to 10 day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center. As you can see, we're getting very warm out west and we're getting much colder out east. We expect to see at least one last dip from that polar jet out east, so we could be seeing temperatures 10, 15, even 20 plus degrees below average as we push out 5 to 7 days. Although this cool down is not expected to last forever, you can see as we get towards the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, we start getting that warm air pushing back out east through the plains and through the Ohio Valley, although portions of the East Coast are still cold, especially the Mid-Atlantic and New England. Taking a look at our 7-day precipitation forecast from the Weather Prediction Center, you can see the Great Lakes region up through New England and the Pacific Northwest are the two main targets. This is a lot of precipitation for the Pacific Northwest, also northern Idaho and western Montana. And of course, we have some severe weather to talk about. We have a large marginal and slight risk stretching from Texas all the way up through western upstate New York. We have a 2 to 5% tornado risk as well. The highest risk areas include portions of West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. You can actually see we have a 2 to 5% SIG 1 risk in here. What this means is that if you're in this green risk zone, there's a 2% chance that a tornado touches down within 25 miles of your home, and it's a 5% chance if you're in this brown. Now, if you're in this hatched area, this means we could see significant tornadoes, meaning EF2 plus in strength, so strong tornadoes. The same goes for down here in the southern portion. Now, obviously, we still have a tornado risk through portions of Kentucky and Tennessee, but looking down here, East Texas, Louisiana, portions of Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, this is where our highest percentage chance to see a tornado is going to be, and you could also see a significant tornado down here as well. How many people are in this tornado risk? Well, the 2% zone, 49 million people. The 5% tornado risk zone, we have 27 million people, and then that SIG 1 or significant tornado risk zone, 44 million people. Some of the notable cities that are in this tornado risk: Columbus, Ohio, Baltimore, New Orleans, Pittsburgh, Baton Rouge, Houston, Philadelphia, Memphis, Washington, D.C., Nashville. And then you look at the SIG 1, which is the areas that could see significant tornadoes: Houston, Columbus, Memphis, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. We also have the threat for damaging winds. This is a 30% chance up here. So for the rest of us, we're just looking at a 5 to 15% chance. Still could see damaging winds in these areas though, but southeastern Indiana, northern Kentucky, you can see West Virginia, southwestern Pennsylvania, and then northwestern Maryland. We have that 30% chance. Again, meaning from any point in this red zone, there's a 30% chance that we could see damaging winds within 25 miles from that location. Although it's interesting, this is just a 15% chance for damaging wind down here. This includes portions of Louisiana, central to southern Mississippi, southwestern Alabama, and then the far western Florida Panhandle. This includes Pensacola, although this area is hatched, meaning we could see hurricane force gusts, potentially 74 plus mile per hour winds. When it comes to hail, there's not too major of a threat. We do have a 5 to 15% risk for hail though, and you can see that higher percentage risk for hail today is up through portions of Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. Now, before we get into this upcoming snow forecast and cold air forecast, I did want to walk you through our severe weather timing today. First, we're going to take a look at the northern portion, again, because we do have a tornado risk up here through portions of Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, portions of northern Virginia, and Pennsylvania as well. We do have that tornado risk stretching all the way down through the Ohio Valley, down into Dixie Alley towards the Gulf States, but we're going to focus up here. Here we go as we get into around 10 a.m. Eastern time. We could see some cells moving through portions of northern Ohio, although it's still not looking too bad. We do have some strong thunderstorms potentially moving into southern Indiana. Let's move forward a little bit more as we move forward in time, and we will be watching the potential for some strong to severe weather up here in northwestern PA and western New York out there towards the Erie, Buffalo region. This is going to be as we get into around 1 p.m. today. You can see also around 1 to 4 p.m. we start to get these cells popping up through portions of central to eastern Ohio. They're moving into western PA. We're starting to get a little bit of a QLCS lineup here too through portions of Kentucky down to Tennessee. Let's continue to move through. Now we're in the early evening. This is when we're seeing more cells firing off through portions of central PA. You're starting to see this consolidated squall line here, or QLCS. You can get some good helicity along these lines, so it's possible to see a few tornadoes here. Typically, tornadoes that form along a squall line like this aren't as strong as a discrete mode, but there is the greater chance for rotation along these lines. So sometimes you get more tornadoes. They're just not as strong. But you can see we're actually seeing a lot of supercellular, potentially thunderstorms up here through portions of West Virginia. Like I said, eastern Ohio, PA, maybe even Maryland as we get into the early evening hours. These will have the opportunity to put a couple tornadoes down. And then we continue to move throughout the day. Now we're getting into around 10 p.m. at night. These storms are trying to push off towards northern Jersey, the Hudson Valley. Could we still see a supercell or two out here? It's possible. I do think these storms are really going to be losing a lot of their instability. I think we're probably just going to see more strong thunderstorms out here, not severe. Here we go, getting into the southern portion of this storm, and we're actually, this is 8 a.m. Central Time. We could see some strong supercells or at least a QLCS pushing east through Texas, northwestern Louisiana, and then you can see central to eastern Arkansas. Let's push forward a little bit further as we get into 10, 11, and 12 Central Time. The possibility for some severe weather, again, East Texas, northern Louisiana, and now pushing into western Tennessee and northwestern Mississippi. Now, as we get into the early to mid-afternoon, this squall line continues to move out to the east. This is around 4 p.m. Central Time. We're still seeing some storms through portions of northern Louisiana. Now they're pushing into central Louisiana, central Mississippi, and we're starting to see some of these potential cells moving into northwestern Alabama. Let's continue to move forward. Now we're in the early evening hours, getting into around 8 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. Central. We're seeing some strong thunderstorms moving through portions of eastern Louisiana, against central Mississippi, and now we have some strong thunderstorms as well moving into Alabama, around central Alabama. Pushing a little bit further here, now we're around midnight Eastern, 11 p.m. Central. A strong line of storms is forming here from potentially southeastern Louisiana up through southern Mississippi and then through central Alabama. So that's what the progression of these storms looks like today. You can see there's a lot more supercell action potentially happening down here. We're looking at our updraft helicity reflectivity right now. You don't see as much of these potential supercells as we get up into northern Alabama and then through Tennessee. And it was the same when we were looking at that northern mode. You really see them a little bit further to the north. We're talking about east central Ohio through Pennsylvania, northern West Virginia, maybe northwestern Maryland. And I know a lot of people are concerned about this today because of the tornadoes that we saw yesterday. Well, really that system is still ongoing. If I moved over to composite here, I'm recording this very late at night, early in the morning, depending on how you look at it, but this squall line's moving off to the east. We saw some dangerous tornadoes last night. Obviously, this is not expected to be last night. We could get a few tornadoes. We could get a few significant tornadoes. This is not expected to be as dangerous as last night though. Although that being said, if you're in any of these risk zones today, especially these tornado risk zones, you need to be weather aware, you need to be prepared, and you need to stay updated. So is winter actually back? Well, we have some snow and cold air on the way. I'm going to show you the Euro and then I'm going to show you the GFS. Here we go. This is today. We have that snow moving through portions of South Dakota, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota. This is going to be pretty light down here. Nebraska, Iowa, maybe just a little mixing. Not expecting much snow, but you get a little bit of snow through Wisconsin, through the UP of Michigan. This storm moves off to the east, and it brings with it a lot of cold air. Now, we could also see some snow in the higher elevations up and down the Appalachian Mountain Range there. Move forward again. We have another system moving through portions of North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. We'll see how far south this treks. This could trek a little bit farther south, down into potentially Iowa, maybe even northern Illinois. The GFS and Euro don't completely agree, but there you go, putting some snow into Michigan and then out there in New England. Let's push through this weekend. This is where the models also disagree, but they see the same system. This is getting into Saturday night and Sunday morning. This would be a pretty big snowstorm for portions of the Dakotas, Minnesota, and central to northern Wisconsin. We could even be pushing 8 inches to a foot through some of these areas, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Let's push through Sunday into Monday. And right behind this, we have a lot of cold air diving down into the Ohio Valley and towards the southeast. Again, we're talking 10 to 20 degrees below average. And then that cold air moves out and is replaced by warmer air, but look, potentially more snow out towards maybe the mid-Atlantic and New England. Now the GFS has this playing out a little bit differently. Let's move forward and push into Friday. You can see this snowstorm actually gets a little bit farther south on the GFS as we get into Thursday night and Friday morning. Tries to get some snow down there, even into northern Ohio, western PA, pushes out through New England. And then here we go, Saturday night into Sunday morning, we see this pretty enhanced clipper system here. Could even try to get a low strengthening right to the south of this cold air, right to the south of this polar jet, enhancing some of this snow through portions of Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Let's push forward a little bit further into the beginning of next week. This system again tries to drag some of that snow into Appalachia, and then watch what happens as we move through the middle of next week. The GFS actually keeps our northern jet tilted a little bit further down to the south and tries to set up this baroclinic boundary where we could have some snow moving through the Ohio Valley out towards the East Coast, as I said, as we get through the middle of next week. So this is an interesting setup. You got a low pressure system as well running up the coast. Will our temperatures be cold enough for this to be snow along the coast? Will there be enough moisture here? Will this low pressure be close enough to the shore? A lot of questions to ask, but let me show you the national blend of models. Here's the national blend. So interesting, pushing through the second and into the third week of March. We have the chance for some more snow again, all the way down through these regions here. Now, obviously your chances if you're in this gray region are not as high as these areas that the national blend sees, getting 5 to 8 to a foot of snow. But again, cold air is pushing back down into the Ohio Valley. there's going to be some moisture for it to tap into. So it's going to be something interesting to watch, especially potentially what happens out in this area. And just to show you how cold this area is that's diving back down, here we go as we get into this weekend. You can see this cold air beginning to collapse from the north. This is Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon. Now we're getting into Sunday morning. It's getting much colder. This may even bring the threat of severe weather. You see we have that strong temperature gradient here through portions of the plains up towards the Midwest. This is Sunday night into Monday morning, and there you go. Now we have widespread temperatures across portions of the Midwest and Ohio Valley that are 20 to 30 degrees below average potentially. And those cold temperatures are moving down to the south and out to the east. So this is going to give us a chance for snow in some weird areas, maybe a little bit further south than most would expect it, or out towards the coast. How long does this cold air stick around? Maybe a few days, maybe even up to 4 to 5 days, but then it does look like this warm air wants to move back in, push that cold air back out. This may be our last major push of cold air for this winter, so it's going to be interesting to see what it brings with it. As I said, I really appreciate you guys watching this video. If you like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. And if you want access to all the maps and graphics we look at in every single one of these videos and in my live stream, join my Discord. It's completely free. There's a free link to my Discord right below in the description box. Hop in there, say what's up. Again, you don't pay anything. You can also add me on Discord, Connor's Climate Corner, and I'll invite you to the server. We have tons of weather enthusiasts in there, and it is updated every single day with the latest on severe weather, winter weather, tropical weather, climatology, you name it. Again, I appreciate you guys watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one or in the next live stream.